Right, you join me again. I've pulled this apart now. The reason is, stood there looking at it last night, and if you look down this side, what I found was this cleared nicely, and that's as I designed it to do. I measured there, 3 fingers from the tyre. If you look up there, perfect 3 fingers from the tyre. Other side, perfect 3 fingers from the tyre. Absolutely correct. The geometry's right, the angle's right, but for some reason, if you look there, it's clobbering the swing arm. And I stood scratching my head, couldn't get my head around it. Couldn't understand why. I thought maybe I've rotated this spar, had to bend it out, so I considered heating this and bending it and just not filming that. But then I realised, obviously, monkey boy, the swing arm on the left comes out further than it does on the right to allow for the chain of sprockets. Didn't think of that. So obviously all experiments, all projects are a little experiment and a mini adventure. So what I've done, cut that open there. This is just a box tube, and made some plates out of some quarter steel. What is that, 5mm I think, soft mild steel, which is good stuff. Actually that's the stuff that the top bracket's made from. I've drilled through here in order that I can plug weld these, and all these are going to form, very simply, is a nice little trombone bracket to widen it at the bottom. So simply, that's going to go in there. Plug weld there, each side. That's going to give me the extra width. And then, actually, better fitting them that way, I think. That's better. And then, once they're all welded in place, the top one will go on, and it will sit, and it will clear that side of the swing arm. So it's just a little bit of experimenting as I go, a little bit of research and development. That now comes out and clears the swing arm nicely. Once it's all welded and bolted in place, you'll see what I mean. So now that's in place, I've got to fit the trombone slug, if you like. I mean, that's solid steel rather than box section, but once that's welded in place and then subsequently welded to that, that is going to be beef. No worries at all. Let's just get the welder out, buzz it together. That's now ready to go. Just melted that outer one completely, so I'm just going to tack that up a bit more, but I'll put the top half on and then set them up in frame form and get it straight and just tack it straight. So as you can see now, this spar is now completely outside the swing arm by adding that 1.75 inches to the width. There was no amount of bending was going to get that right, and it's out by the same amount as the other one. And obviously that's now solid rather than box section. That's possibly a weak point, but what we're going to do is that, ouch, that in a minute is going to be it. Right, there we are, all done. As you can see now, this is offset. That's offset by the width of the tube, which is what it was clouting. As you can see, this would clout on that bolt there, or the bottom one did. So we've moved it out now, and it is well outside. And as I said, I just miscalculated really. I've got everything straight, spent half an hour to sit there with a tape measure. What the hell is going on? Everything was correct. This gap here was correct with this gap here. Everything worked, everything lined up, it was all square. this was 90, that was 90, it was all working, and I just couldn't fathom out why this adjuster bolt was hitting the bottom of this. It just didn't make any sense. So I thought to just heat this up enough to rotate it, but it would have damaged it, would have kinked or split, and then it would have made it weak. So I just worked it out in the end that obviously the chain sprockets, the left side of any swing arm, and I think if you look at the original swing arm for the Bandit, you can even see as it goes back, the left hand side is kicked out more. And that's what I did wrong. That's the mistake I made, and I've now rectified it. So there we go. That's obviously that's a solid piece of 1/2 inch steel now. So it's as strong as the box section. That's fine. I've welded a tab just across there, just a piece of quarter plate tab. Still quite hot. What I'm doing is I'm leaving it bolted to the bike for about 3 hours. I've welded it in place on the bike. It was a bit of pressure. I pulled it out, then welded it, and that's then held it. But if I take it off, obviously heat, expansion, contraction, it could possibly just distort as it cools down. So as a jig, I'm using the bike and the frame as a jig, so that when I take it off, it stays in the same shape. And that's that. So there we go. I'm going to do some more bracing. I've got an idea. I'm going to go to the dump, try and find to actually box this in to kind of match this Yon engine cage thingamajig. Try and find some sort of mesh and mesh the siding on this, and that'll look quite smart. And it will also act, if it's tacked all the way along, as quite a decent quality brace. And honestly, the other issue of this being, I can't pull it around, it's still too hot, this being sort of lateral side to side, cross bracing across here, there's some brilliant ideas. One of you guys come out with chain, weld a piece of chain across, it'll look the business. I might yet do it, I might yet do that, but it won't actually work as a physical brace because it will flex. I found out from welding all this chain under here, when I welded this, that's all welded, as you can see it's still flexy. It doesn't really work. It's alright short lengths, but a length that sort of size, it still flexes unless you use massive chain, and then it's going to be too heavy. This thing's already 15 kilos now, so we are right on the cusp of that being too heavy. That's enough. That's like a fully loaded top box. So really got to come up with some idea, maybe just across the back, I don't know, just sort of from this outer corner. I might even possibly run some sort of brace, a tube in there, and run a rod. I think rod's okay. If I can get some 1/2 inch bar, then I can curve it. But anyway, that's all for the future. Just wanted to address that out and realign what I'd done wrong, so that's now correct and new. Okay, there we go. Thanks for watching Delboy's Garage. Ride safe. See you next time.